Meta Ads feel different in 2026? What happened, what updates we had, what are the changes, and how you can adapt to those changes, most importantly, because it's cool knowing what happens. It's even better to know how you can adjust your strategy and still get results with your ads. So in 2026, we had something called the Meta Andromeda updates, which many advertisers love, many advertisers hate, but we need to adapt because this is what's happening now. Call is actually going to be based on some of the Hormozi strategies. Also, I'll share my experience because you probably know Hormozi, but if you just found me on YouTube, you probably don't know anything about me. My name is Mate Hunyor. I've been media buying since 2018. At this point, I spent well over $5 million on Meta Ads. Just wanted to share a couple results why you should listen to me. Of course, don't listen to a stranger on the internet. But I have some results and I just grabbed a couple. The most recent one is a school games win with Darius. Here's another result. This is from the e-commerce days, but we turned basically 400K into $1.3 million. So let's talk some strategy, what you can take away from this call, how it's going to help you. So now Meta Ads, you still manually control it, but I feel like Meta Ad is heading into the direction where in a year or two, you'll only need to text Meta AI and then you just tell the AI, hey, I want to run a local campaign in my area. So I'm in Clearwater, Florida. I want to target a 25-mile radius and I'm looking for people who are interested in wellness services because I have a wellness clinic, let's say. So then you just need to text the AI and then it's going to take care of everything. So actually my imagination and tried to imagine how this platform would look like. So it's going to be similar to ChatGPT or any chat platforms that we are using now. So you can think of Gemini, but I made a mock-up. So of course this is not official, but I think this is similar to how it's going to look like. So you have an account, you have your balance. So yeah, you can pay. Your current balance is 1.5K. Here's your account. So yeah, here's my company. This is what we do. And hey, Alex, what would you like to promote today? So yeah, I want to promote my new course on Facebook and Instagram. My audience is online business owners, 25 to 45 years old. And now the Meta Ads is just going to respond to you. Amazing. I'll create a campaign to promote your course. Here's the campaign objective, the audience, the placements we use. So Meta, Facebook feed, Instagram feed, stories. $50 a day, optimizing for purchase, of course, because we want to sell the campaigns. And I suggest using a cost benefit focused video and a strong call to action. So yeah, you can just launch the campaign. And yeah, here are the results. You can expect the clicks, the conversions. So I think it's a nice mockup, and this is what I expect how it's going to look like soon. Yeah, I really think this Meta Ads AI is coming soon. And this feature is actually already live. This is a screenshot from an account. And you can already describe your audience. So there's a text at the bottom. And once you type your audience, who you want to target, it's going to give you some options. So it's already here. It's coming soon. Now, we are not quite there yet, but even now, you don't really need to be a media buyer at this point. You have to be more of a creative strategist and you have to understand what's happening on the creative side and how you can improve your creative. So, creative strategist and data analyst is an important role, and these are slowly going to replace the media buyer positions. If you have a job now or you are on the job market, you'll see that creative strategists are making the big money and marketing agencies are hiring for that role, no longer the media buyers. So this is a fact, and also what we see now that Meta is pushing more and more AI features. So use CBO, use the campaign budget optimization, use Advantage Plus everything. So placements, Advantage Plus audience, the creative optimization, turn on everything, add music to your videos, add animation to your images. So Meta is really pushing these new features now. They are not quite at the point where they are great. Like the AI image generation is pretty bad so far, but I do believe in a year the AI image generation is going to be great and it's actually going to create some winning ads for you. For now, not really. So here are a couple of screenshots of the Advantage Plus options. So we have the Advantage Plus budget. So if you use the campaign budget, Meta really wants to push you into that direction. So if you use a campaign budget, yes, you are Advantage Plus. Same on the audience side. So to use Advantage Plus audience is going to go broad. All you need to set basically is the location. So yeah, I want to target the US, but basically that's all you need. You don't need to suggest or include any custom audiences. So custom audiences, for example, people who visited your website, who signed up to your school about page, those are all custom audiences. Think of a customer list. But even if you add a customer list, it's just going to be a suggestion. So even Meta says you can suggest an audience, it might not target it at all. So at this point, these days, you don't need to use any audience settings. You just leave it broad. Advantage Plus and Meta is going to take care of it. Now, how it's going to target, you might ask that question. We'll discuss that later in the call, and then how you can create ad copy and ads that are actually going to target your audience. And then another screenshot, because if you are new to Meta Ads and you are setting up ads, I think it's really easy to get lost because you're a beginner, you want to get the highest campaign score, you want to optimize. So yeah, okay, I'll buy the related media because it's going to give me higher conversions. Or yeah, okay, Meta is suggesting that I add AI generated images. Sure, let's apply and let's turn all the creative enhancements on. So instead of having one image, you are going to have around 5 images, and your spend, your hard-earned money that you worked for, so you are spending, let's say, $20 per day on ads, it's going to be split across now 5 different ads instead of one, because you made one ad, but Meta AI added 4 other images, and now you are testing all 5. So I suggest for now, don't use any AI image generation. You see, zero media is being used, no related media, no Advantage Plus creative enhancements. We don't need to translate the text. We don't need overlays or visual touch-ups. We don't need any of this stuff. If we design an ad, that's how we want the ad to look like, and we don't need the AI to optimize it until it's better. So what matters today is creative is your new targeting, because Meta AI is going to pull the information from the creative. So if your creative says, hey, I'm looking for roofers because I'm hiring, and then your image also says hiring roofers for my roofing company, now Meta AI is going to read between the lines and it's going to understand, oh, it's a roofing company, they are hiring, so I'll show the ad to roofers who need a job. Of course, good tracking is a must. So if you're running a lead campaign, you are trying to sign up signups for a webinar, never use a traffic campaign. We'll have to set up the tracking. So if you have a landing page, if you have a school page, an e-commerce store, you have to make your tracking is on point. You need to set up the API tracking as well. We are going to use broad audience setups, as I mentioned earlier. So just broad Advantage Plus audiences. And also, of course, you need a damn good offer, because if your offer sucks, nobody's going to click and nobody cares. That's the step 0 before you start running ads. So now, okay, great, we have all this information, amazing. Now I know about Andromeda. I know I need to use broad targeting. So now how do I create winning ads? Because that's what we need. We want winning ads. So first you need to know that ads are made up of 2 main parts. So they have the creative part, which is an image, is a video, a GIF, an animation. That's all the creative part. So it's basically the image that you see with your eyes. Now ad copy. Copy is something you read. So that's going to be the text part of your ad, which is above the image. So here's the ad copy. Business owners, real quick, can I get your email? When creating these new ads, if you know anything about SEO, search engine optimization, that's going to be super helpful for you. Because at this point and this day, you basically need to keyword your ads. So since targeting is no longer important, is no longer done on the audience level, we need to give Meta context. And I try to highlight the context word as much as I can, because context, if you're a business owner and you want to have a good business moving forward in the next 5 years, context is going to be most important. And you need to understand how to give context to AI. And if you can't give context, then you are going to be the person who says AI is giving me garbage, AI slope, shit copy, and shit creatives. But the truth is that it's on you because you can't give proper context. So you need to talk about your target audience. So basically, when you tell any AI that, hey, I want to run ads for this business, that's not enough. You need to talk about your location, your offering, your perfect ideal customer profile, and give it more context. So you need to call out your target audience, both in your ad copy and in your creative as well. So I have some examples on this. Now again, Hormozi ads. Let's look at his creatives. So same creatives, he's just basically changing the target audience. So he says, if you own a signage or a printing company doing 1 million plus a year, we made the scaling roadmap for you. And then he has the same image, but now it's a chiropractic clinic. So he's targeting chiropractors and then printing company owners, and he calls them out in his creative. And then in his ad copy, he also calls out the target audience because are you struggling to scale? Now usually this is a problem of business owners. And then he talks about what you need for scaling, better advertising, increased customer value, and then more leads, of course. So and comes his offer. It's personalized for your business. And then the call to action, just answer a few questions and we'll send it to you for free. So that's the call out Hormozi is doing in one of his ads. Now, here's another example where he's talking about scaling, and then in the video, he's actually talking to business owners, so he has the context there. And then in the headline, he calls out business, how to scale your business. And then he also says entrepreneurs in the primary text. So almost in every part of his ad, he calls out the target audience. And now, of course, it's going to be shown to business owners. Okay, so now at this point we have good ads. Now, how do we run the ads? So we made the ad copies, we made the creatives, we call out the target audience, everything's perfect, on point, we need to set up the ads. Now, I have good news. If your ads are actually good and if your tracking is on point, you're winning. You don't need to worry about the campaign setup. This is how you name your campaigns. This is the exact optimization strategy. If you have good ads, they are going to convert. Just make sure to put out more and more ads because now with the hyper optimized ads, so let's say you're in Phoenix, Arizona, targeting roofers. Now your target audience might be just a couple dozen, so you have to refresh your creatives all the time, put out new images, new videos, because Meta is doing the job on the targeting. It's going to get in front of the same target audience, but now it's your job to keep the creative fresh and change the creatives at least one time a week so your target audience is not seeing the same ads over and over again. Now, if you want to be more technical, if you want to get into the technical side, here's a quick overview of a general testing. So I have the campaign here. Let's say it's a copy or creative testing sales campaign for a school group. We are using ABO. So this is all reflected in the campaign name. Now we have multiple ad sets inside. So let's say it's week 47. We are starting with the copy testing. For the US, of course, broad Advantage Plus audience. Now, what's a copy testing? Copy testing is where we only test ad copies and the images are the same. So if you see, it's also reflected in the naming conventions. So we have the same image one across 5 ads. The only difference is the ad copy. So we have ad copy 1 to 5. Now, in this example, ad copy number 3 was our winner. So I highlighted it, and when we have a winner, we move it to the next week's test. So if you look at next week, which is week 48, now we have a winning copy, so that's one part of our ad. We are still unsure what the best creative is. So now we are going to test the creatives. So since we have the winning copy, ad copy number 3, we are using that across all ads, and we test 5 different images to see which one has the best performance. Most conversions, the lowest CPA, highest CTR, lowest CPC. Let's see how the numbers look. But in this example, image 4 was our best performer. So now we are happy. We have a winning combination of ad copies and images. Now we just keep testing in ABO every week. So next, what you can test. You can test ad copies again, but to be fair, ad copy is not as important as the creative side. So once you have a decent ad copy, just keep it and keep testing the different images. So next week, from your winning image, you can test a different background. You can test a different headline on your ad. You can test a different hook. If it's a video, you can test a different hook or a different call to action at the end, depending on your metrics. So that's why it's also important to measure the correct numbers, track the correct KPIs. Now, here's the concept in practice. So again, we are back looking at Hormozi's ads. So if you notice, all of these ads are promoting his scaling workshop, and the ad copies are the same on all of his ads. So we are hosting a workshop at acquisition.com, Las Vegas headquarter. So this is the same ad copy across all ads. The difference is the creative side. So this was a creative test. And then here's one video where not even Hormozi is on the thumbnail. Now here's Hormozi in his studio. So he has a winning copy and now he's just testing multiple creatives. So that's the concept. And then, of course, he also does the copy testing in the first round. And if you look at his ad library, it's going to be clear for you that, yeah, he actually does this. If you need more strategies, if you want to see more updates like this, or you are just interested in learning more about Meta Ads, how to create your ads, I have all of this inside my school community. So you can go to school.com/advertising, or you can just scan the QR code